What if I told you that you aren't stuck in your business? You're just stuck solving the wrong problem for the stage that you're in. So today's podcast, we're going to be talking about the 4 tiers to business, y'all. And every single stage of business has a main problem. And oftentimes what I have found is that us as entrepreneurs, we try to solve perceived problems. And what happens here is that we create bigger problems for ourselves. So there are 4 tiers to business, and here's the first one. So we have number 1, the hustler. Number 2, we have the operator. Number 3, we have the builder, and then we have the owner. All right. So let's start off with level 1 right here. We have the hustler. Everybody knows that this is the one-man band, probably has no team. You're doing everything yourself. And we've all experienced that. Now, this is not to say that like you're at this level. You just have to discover where you are. And then what we will do is discover where your bottleneck is here. Okay. So the very first thing we have, of course, is the hustler, right? What they typically experience is like this inconsistency of income. Maybe they don't even have, a solid lead flow, and they have all of these, problems that they look at, but they need to really solve one problem. And what I really found here is that they have no control over their demand, right? They are trying so many different things, right? So like in the real estate industry, right, we have different lead systems. Like you have cold calling, you have PPC, you got PPL, you can run ads, you got all of these things, right? And what we do as one-man bands, we try to handle every single thing, but we don't have the lead flow to come in, right? So one of the things that I want to cover here is talking about really what this hustler deals with, for one, other than, obviously the leads, some bottlenecks that they have, and then how do we uncover those so they can like have new eyes and a new lens to look from, and how they solve these things, right? So I just named a couple when it comes down to this entrepreneur. Let me ask you this. What was your mindset when it comes down to like being at this level and starting a business from scratch? Like, how did that feel? Like, take us back to this, because I really want to set the tone for our audience about like what that looks like for us.
Yeah. And so, I think at this particular stage, of this particular tier, most of the time people, because they are having to do everything themselves. They're the CEO, they're the CFO, they're the accounting person, they're the marketer, they're the admin staff, they're everything, right?
Yeah.
So it's always the mentality of, I gotta get it, I gotta get it, I gotta get it, I
Hustling.
gotta do it, I gotta do it, kind of mentality. And unfortunately, for most businesses, they never leave this particular tier.
Yeah.
Because of burnout. They literally burn themselves out because they haven't separated the passion from the business.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes that business begins to put that light out, right, of passion. So I would say for most of the people who are here, some of the key traits that you mentioned, is that hustle-driven mentality. They're probably missing on documentation. They're probably missing on some key elements of operation. They may be missing on some of those things. And so that's a hard place to be in, man, because you don't have anybody that you found to be trustworthy enough to come into your business. I know for me, when I first started, man, I didn't trust nobody.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I really didn't, because I didn't know if somebody was going to try to self-sabotage, and I wasn't a paranoid individual. I was always inviting for anybody to come and help me out, but it was always like, but. You know what I'm saying? I think it's cool, but but let me find out.
I think that's the reason by that, and why that is because like nobody is going to treat like our business like us. And that's what I've found, just hiring different people or bringing different people in. Nobody's going to treat our business like we are. Nobody's as serious as us. And like one thing that it comes down to is really just trusting that they can do their job, right? Because like as at this stage right here, us ourselves is still wearing the hat. And I truly believe that you have to be in a place, to come from a place where you can actually lead, you actually have to follow first. Meaning you have to sit in this chair, operate and go through the different stages, like the problems that you have. It's kind of like
Yeah.
when you're cold calling, you know all of the objections that happen because you're on the phone consistently and you're covering those. So in order for you to train on those things, you have to be able to, you have to go through it first, which is why at this stage is very important to go through all of those stages. So like, let's scale it back real quick.
Yeah.
Most people in this specific stage right here, what they want to do is bring somebody in and hire somebody super, super fast without wearing all the hats. Like, how important is it to wear all of the hats starting out? And as sucky as this may sound, because like, y'all, I'll be honest, business sucks at times. Like you have to do things that you don't absolutely want to do. You're not gonna feel like it every day. You're gonna be tired. You're gonna be mentally drained sometimes. And at the end of the day, like starting out at this level, it's only like it's not forever. It's just for a little bit, right? Get some sales under your belt, get some experience, and then scale up from there. But like a lot of people, what they try to do is hire before it's time. And now when it comes down to training somebody, they fail miserably or they waste a lot of money because they're trying to scale too fast to that second tier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, and let's just, I really want to make sure that our viewers are really, really getting this because there's nothing wrong with wearing all of those hats.
Yeah.
In fact, I believe, and this is what I teach, I believe it's necessary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Depending upon the tier that a business come in when they're coming to my direction, I say.
Yeah.
I put them through this audit, and the 4 tiers that we're talking about today is part of that audit. It's like, I need to see where you are in your business. And most of the time, man, they're in this stage where they're wearing all of the hats, they're making all of the decisions, all of their SOPs and all of their metrics and all of their
they don't even have no SOPs.
It's up here, and they don't even know that that's what they are.
Yeah.
It's up here because they've been doing it by themselves the entire time. They haven't put it on paper to actually make it an SOP.
Yeah.
So what I like to share with people is that what we got to do is we got to put what's up here on here on paper so that it can become real.
Yeah.
And other people can see it and run with it, right? But you said something very powerful here, and I wanted to mention this. And I think this part is very important. Every person that starts in business don't always start in the tier 1.
Yeah.
But I think it's necessary that every person that starts in business need to start in tier 1.
Because some people, like, for clarity, y'all, what we mean by this is like, if you already know what this stage is, like just starting out as a one-man band. Some people inherit businesses, some people buy businesses, some people buy companies with employees already in, but sometimes maybe they have been at that level and operated high at that level. And sometimes you have people who just inherit stuff and they've never been operating at this level, right? Which is why, the company typically goes down.
Right.
So that's important for clarity.
Yeah. And to add to that, it's just, and the reason why that's important, I think, is because you learn a lot about yourself in this stage.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about yourself, man.
True.
You learn, this, I always say business is a mirror, right? And show me a business that's successful, I'll show you an entrepreneur who's disciplined and successful. You show me a business that's failing or struggling, and I'll show you a business entrepreneur that's struggling or failing, right? So it's always a mirror. So if you're not careful, your business will tail off on you, right? So these are the times where I believe business people are built.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're no longer, let's just take for an example, a t-shirt business, right? Making t-shirts is a skill, right? I mean, it's absolutely an art, a skill. But the truth of the matter is, knowing that skill don't make you a business person. Yeah. And it certainly don't make you a business, right? But as you begin to start your business, You learn things about yourself
Yeah.
and elements about yourself that you didn't even know existed.
Yeah. Because you're becoming the person.
Because you are becoming, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I say I think it's important for every person and to everybody that's out there now that's listening to this, and you're at this stage. Listen, don't get down on yourself on
Yeah.
that, right? Because if it were me and I was in control of the earth, and I would say I'm in control of all businesses of the earth, I would absolutely mandate for every business to start here. Because you learn so much about who you are as a person. You learn so much more about the business that you're endeavoring to get into. You begin to learn more about that, and then here's the biggest part right here. It reminds you of your why.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It reminds you of why you do what you do. Because at those times where things are not working, you need to be reminded why.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for every person that's out there and you're at this tier one and you're the hustler, you're the one wearing the hats, listen, don't despise it.
Yeah.
Learn. We don't fail. We only learn to mastery. So we learn as we go, right? And we continue to grow and we
Yeah.
continue to lay those seeds and we continue to see that harvest come because we are continuing to grow every day.
That's very important because it's like you have to learn to fall in love with the process instead of the trying to get the result, right?
Man.
So many people focus too much on the result, and y'all, we have solutions coming for you, but I really want to touch on this because it's the mindset, and it's kind of like you're being reformed and you're being refined and you're
Absolutely.
being like forged. You know what I mean? Like, you know how the stick goes in the lava and then you
Yeah.
get built.
Yeah.
It's like you're getting refined in that process, and like the business is either like working on you or it's working for you. And like most of the time, it's gonna work on you because like this business has taught me like patience. Like, and I can now listen to somebody just go and go, and I'm like, all right. So it's taught me the patience. It taught me about like just listening, all of these different things, and it teaches you this like skills that you need for when you get to the higher level. Because if you don't have the patience, if you sound salesy, if you you don't have the development that you need to go to this next level, you're not going to survive there. So oftentimes what we do is we ask for something that we're not ready for, and then when we get it, we fumble it. You know what I mean? So it's very important that you fall in love with the process, y'all, because the process is like it is the late nights, it is the calls, it is these things, right? But like here's a couple of things I think that's very important to highlight so you can fix where you are, okay? You're at this stage and your goal is to go to the next level. You want to get consistent income. You want to have consistent leads. Let me just give you the fix right here. The fix here is one channel, y'all. One marketing channel, one offer, one audience. Like, you're trying to do too much. You're trying to try too many things. And if you're at this stage right now and you are doing these things, you're trying everything, you have something called this, the shiny object syndrome, where like, oh, well, this works a little bit, but then I see something else getting marketed here. Oh, these people are trying this. It's like, hey, just have one offer, one audience, one marketing channel, master that, dial into that, make the calls, make the offers, and then most importantly, tracking.
Right.
Tracking weekly is important.
Absolutely.
What should they be tracking?
Yeah.
When I think of tracking, obviously you want to know like the industry standard numbers for your industry, right? So like cost per lead, calls to close, dials to an offer, what do they call that? The fallout rate, success rate, right? Knowing those numbers, like, hey, what is the average cost to acquire a contract? What is the cost to acquire a customer? What is my return on marketing spend or ad spend? Like, what are those things supposed to look like? Because what this does is it gives you a baseline. Like, all right, if I know the industry standard cost per lead for cold call leads is $30 and I'm at 80, like what's going on there? There's some kind of disconnect there, right? So knowing your industry standard KPIs is very, very important. So tracking how many calls you're making is very important on a daily basis, y'all. How many offers you're making, how much you're spending is important. I'm like, why don't we at this level? This is the most important level for the foundation because we spend a lot of money at this, but at this stage, but we don't keep up with how much we spend. Right. So when people ask us our numbers, hey, how much are you spending for a lead, or that we don't know it, right?
And that's only because we're not
we're in that hustle.
We're not in the mentality of tracking. We're in the mentality of making.
Yeah.
We want to make money.
Yeah.
Right. So I can tell you how much money I made last week.
Exactly.
But I can't tell you how much I spent that last week.
Exactly.
But I know that what I made don't look like what I'm supposed to have in my bank account.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I like what you said, but let me dial into that a little bit too. About at this stage, and I think this works for every industry. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. You can be, in the health industry. You can be in the fitness industry. You can be in real estate. You can be, working t-shirt service industry, business consultants. It doesn't matter, right? What you want to always do is give yourself 30 days to track everything. And when I say everything, I don't mean, you tracking how much food you ate today. What I mean is tracking the things that are most important, critical mission things that you need to know in order to scale your business up, right? And you just laid out a couple of them there that they can start to track. But I'm gonna use t-shirt business again, right? Just as a means of it. So what you're gonna want to know is, where are you sourcing your shirts? How much is the cost of those shirts? How much are you buying those shirts for versus how much you're going to be selling them for, right? And then you track those over 30 days. Also, how are you marketing your business? Are you using Instagram? Are you using, by the way, if you have a t-shirt business, you should absolutely be on TikTok. You should be going hard on TikTok. I didn't say Instagram. I didn't say Facebook. I didn't say none of this. I said TikTok. And I'm going to tell you why. Because of the TikTok shop. If you got a t-shirt business, if you selling socks, if you selling ties, you got a beauty brand. If you're selling any kind of product, you should be on TikTok and rocking it out 110,000%. That is a free platform with millions of users who are looking for your product, right? So that's your marketing channel. Use that marketing channel, right? And start to market that. That don't cost you nothing. Excuse me for saying it that way, but this is how I talk to my mentees. That don't cost you a thing.
Nope.
That's free. You don't have to go and spend out a dime. Just show up every day on TikTok, selling your shirts, selling your product, whatever it is. Just do it every day, and you will see how your business will grow. So at this beginning stage, and we're not trying to beat a dead horse here, but we got three others to go to, but we really, really wanted to hone in on this one because, y'all, here's the real statistic. 90% of entrepreneurs are here at this stage. If you're watching me, more than likely, you are either here or tier 2. You're one of the two. But more than likely, you're here at this stage. First, I want to high five you for starting it. But secondly, I don't want you to give up. Because just like 90% of people that start their business are here, 90% actually, there are some that don't make it out of this tier 1, right? So that's what I wanted to share on that piece there.
Absolutely. So I think it's important to highlight this to end this tier off is your job is not to work harder. Your job is to literally make money predictable. And you do that by tracking, for one, by actually doing the work and understanding that you should have patience with yourself when it comes down to owning this kind of tier right here so you can move to the next level. So the second tier that we have, y'all, is something that we like to call the operator, right? Typically what they experience, y'all, is leads coming in, the revenue is there, but it feels fragile. The third thing here is the team is forming, but you have the decision fatigue, right? The reason why this is is because, like, if we are bringing on people in this team and we don't educate them on like the system, the SOPs,
Right.
the processes,
Right.
what the business ends up doing is staying with us.
That's right.
So a lot of people that are operating and they're getting some traction, the business lives with them, so it dies with them.
That's right.
Meaning if they leave tomorrow, their people won't know, they won't sustain.
Yeah.
Because everything is literally with you, right? So one thing that I did last year in 2024, so I went full time into real estate 2024. And essentially what I did, this was kind of like 6 months in. I think I had about, I made about, the first 6 months, I made probably about like 600 grand, right? And I started to hire a team. But at this point in time, I had something that I had to admit to myself, which is a delegation issue, right? And I hired about 6 people thinking that obviously, more numbers, more revenue, more leads, all of this good stuff. And I ended up hiring about 6 people, like just ended horribly because of the delegation, right? The business lived with me and I was still kind of like giving it away, but kind of micromanaging it.
Right.
And if it didn't get done, I would do it,
Right.
right? And everything just lived with me. We had plenty of leads, the revenue was there. But at the end of the day, what ended up happening was we got 50 contracts in 1 month, 50 houses under contract, and literally only sold 3 deals, literally just because of that.
Yeah.
And the industry standards success rate, like this, let's say worst case is like 50%.
Yeah.
I was way below that,
Yeah.
like crazy.
Yeah.
So one of the fixes that I absolutely did, y'all, that I labeled here, is simply documenting my decisions, right? Like documenting not tasks, but these decisions.
Right.
Are these the decisions that I am supposed to be making, right? So number one thing is documenting decisions. The second thing here is creating rules and standards, like for not only the team, but myself too, because like if I'm going to kind of delegate this and try to delegate these tasks and this, I guess you can say this what am I looking for? Not department, but like department. Basically,
Sure,
if I'm
yeah.
going to delegate this department, I have to make sure that like we label out rules, procedures, operated. What I'm looking for is SOPs.
SOPs.
So what a SOP is, y'all, is a standard operating procedure. So I want you to think about it like this. Every morning you wake up, you do what? You get out of bed, I hope. You get out of bed, you go brush your teeth, you wash your face, you probably shower, you go work out. That's a procedure right there. It's kind of like a what's the other word? A routine, right? You have a routine. Every time you do this, you literally do this step by step by step. If we are not documenting every single thing that we're doing for each task that we have, y'all, for each thing that we do, we're failing because when we try to train somebody on it, we can't do it efficiently because it's not documented, right? So that's one thing that I dealt with, in 2024 when I was trying to scale is literally that, like making sure that I had the SOPs there so they can know step by step what to do, right?
Yeah.
So the problem is that the founder is the system, like you are the system, and the business really depends on your brain. Have you ever had a moment like that in your business, like where everything stuck with you and you didn't want to like give anything away, kind of?
Yeah, because you know at this stage, this tier, as we mentioned, and you already gave some solutions there, but as you mentioned, this is the stage where things are clicking.
Yeah.
You know, you got
Starting to
systems
click.
in place. You have systems in place. You have people in place. You have SOPs in place. You have, you've delegated some authority. You've delegated some workers to do some. You know what I'm saying? You're seeing it to begin to kind of take shape.
Yeah.
Right. And the biggest challenge now becomes you leaving the business and still seeing the business be successful.
Would you say that it's important to remove yourself from the approval process? Like everything goes like when you give somebody a task, meaning like do they do it and you like and they come to you before they do it, they say, hey, is this okay? Or like, no, is it like leave it to them, let them do it, and maybe you
Yeah.
come back, after y'all have a team meet. Like what does that look like?
That speaks to two different things.
Yeah.
That speaks to your hiring,
Yep.
having the ability to hire properly, people who are solution oriented,
Mm-hmm.
people who can think innovatively,
Innovatively, yep.
and people who can grasp your vision and run with it.
Yeah.
Right. Number one,
Everybody can't see your vision.
everybody can't see it. And then number two, it speaks to how well you've documented your processes.
That's true.
Because if you want people to respond the way you would respond, you have to train them as if you were training your replacement, right? So every time I've consulted with businesses, and some people can take it and some people can't, right?
True.
And I always say from the very beginning, when you bring me in as your business consultant, I'm staying for 3 months only. And that 3-month time, I'm going to 10x what you're doing. And the number one reason is because I already know you do not have the proper delegation
Yeah.
and you do not have the proper SOPs. And that's what's causing the bottlenecks. That's what's causing the poor decision making. That's what's causing some of the delays in your operations, your day-to-day operations, et cetera. Those are the two criteria. Now watch this. This is the part, y'all, that I was stuck at for years in my own business, right? I delegated the authority and trained to the authority. Here you go to your question. I'm trying to get back to you. I trained the authority, but didn't allow the authority to make the decision. It would always have to come back to me, right? And this is why I said earlier, when you are at that tier 1, it teaches you a lot about you,
Yeah.
right? And then when you get in that tier 2, it's going to teach you some more about you.
That's true. That's true.
Every tier is going to reveal something about you,
Yeah.
okay? But I'm only mentioning this because I didn't realize that I was causing the demise of my company. I wanted everything to come back to me because I had trust issues. I wanted everything to come back to me because I didn't trust that somebody was going to make the right choice. And because of that, I was always in it, even though I was separating myself from it.
Yeah.
So I had started a whole nother business in conjunction with it was just an arm of the company. But I was starting a different arm on the company. And even though the business was successful, it was going well, everything was humping, and I left the delegated authority, I started doing some other things, but I still was trying to run everything over here instead of leaving that authority. So to your point, it's very important that if you're going to give your hirings the authority to do what you would do, you have to trust the decision that they're going to make. And you have to make sure that your SOPs are so tight that they don't have to ask you a question.
Yeah.
All they have to do is go into the SOP, put the comment in there, it pops up, boom, this is the, bow.
Yep.
And now I know what I need to do.
Exactly.
As opposed to me guessing and trying to figure it out. Oh, I guessed wrong.
Yeah.
Now it just cost the company $10,000.
That's true. Let's break that down real quick because I think that's important because if people hear us talk about SOPs and like they probably know what it is, maybe they're about to look it up, but like they don't know how to build it. So when we talk about a purpose of a SOP, y'all, it's designed to tell the individual what the importance of this task is, what the purpose of it is, how do you do it step by step. What are some other things that you would say? Like, are those about in line?
Simply put, it's you in paper form.
Boom. Simple as that.
It's exactly what an SOP is. It's because you've been making all of the decisions. You know what's needed in your business.
Exactly.
You know what procedures are there.
Yep.
And so whatever those procedures are, you need to write them down.
Yeah.
Now, I would even tell people this too. Whenever you bring in delegated authority, and we're still on SOPs.
Yeah.
Whenever you bring in delegated authority, I would always suggest that you give the people a video form of your SOP,
That's important. Very important.
not just paper.
Yeah.
And you teach it. You
Yeah.
be the one to teach it. And the reason why is because they see your eyes, they hear your tone. And because we're human beings, we deal with verbal and nonverbal cues.
Yeah.
So I can hear you and see you at the same time and pick up on priorities. I can pick up, oh, this really matters. Oh, this, where you can't really get that in paper form.
Yeah.
Now
Or
you
just
can,
texting it,
or
like, hey,
texting
do
it.
this.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
yeah.
but if you have it in video form,
Yeah.
right? And for those of you that are wanting to do something like that, I'm not even getting paid by these people. I'm not getting this paid sponsorship. But look, Loom, hook me up.
Loom is
But
fire.
Loom, guys,
Yeah.
Loom is a beast. Not Zoom, but Loom, Loom.
Yep. We'll link that in the description too, y'all.
Yo, when I tell you Loom is the best, so you have the ability to, if you have a CRM and you're teaching on,
Who gave you that? I gave you that?
what, the Loom?
Yeah.
Yeah, you showed me that one.
I showed him
Yeah,
Loom.
yeah, you showed me that.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, who gave me
Yeah,
that?
man, because I was always, because I was old school.
Yeah.
I was actually positioning myself to get into this new age era
Yeah.
of technology, and I was on AI, man,
Yeah.
in 2023. And I was looking at AI then with ChatGPT and all of these other things that were coming out with all of these different things. Man, I was on them.
Yeah.
I was beta testing, some of these things via Slack. I was beta testing some of these things, right?
Yeah.
But the whole point of that was to better my efficiency in my business. So, yes, to remove yourself, you have to train yourself,
That's true.
right? You got to train the people, you. And once you do that, you can start to see. Now, this is the tier 2 operator level. This is where you already got things rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Things are humping. You're seeing some consistent money coming in. You're seeing consistent leads come in.
Yeah.
You're
kind of at that point where, like, you got leads coming in, the revenue is coming in, but it feels fragile. It's like, if I make a move,
wrong move. It's over.
We're going under, like, not under, but you're gonna have to work a little hard to recover. You know
Absolutely,
what I mean?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know because we mentioned this when we kind of went over it, but I want to go back now to some solutions of those things. Like,
I think
coming out of this stage, how can I improve to get out of this stage, out of this tier?
So I think number one here is documenting these things, right? Like, documenting is going to be critical. Because,
Another level documenting.
Another level. I'm talking about all the way from, like, you have to know what kind of person you are. Like, I have discovered this, like, about a year ago about myself, is that I hate doing admin work.
Yeah.
It's something, not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's something that, like, I personally don't need to be doing because I can outsource it and delegate it.
Right.
And then for two, it's like, I really had to put SOPs together, standard operating procedures together, and train my virtual assistants on this, because that's what kind of person I was. So, like, for one, you have to notice what kind of person you are, because this first level, you don't have any employees. Now you're getting to the point where you're hiring employees and you have employees, but you have an issue getting it out, like training a you to essentially be you, right? And I want you to understand that, like, nobody is going to be 100% you. Like, when you get to this next level, we'll talk about this, but nobody is going to be 100% you. You might get 80% of you, or 70% of you, but, like, it's okay. It's okay that somebody is not there, because you can train them to be a you, right? So number one is documenting these kind of decisions, what kind of person you are, things you don't like doing, and being honest with yourself, and then really documenting these SOPs, because these SOPs, and recording the SOPs, because these SOPs are going to be the thing that like helps you when you hire more because you don't have to keep retraining on the same thing.
Absolutely.
You say go here, and then you test them on it, make sure that they know it, all of
Yes.
that, and then of course, I would say the next thing is implementing a point system before you get to the next level.
Yeah.
So I have something called an online point system, a PTL system,
Yeah.
and what it does is it kind of, you know how like you get people that come into your life. Maybe that's your business, personal, and like they overstep a line a little bit. You have to set like boundaries.
Certain boundaries, yeah.
What a point system does is set boundaries. Hey, you come in late. Hey, that's a point.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to make sure that we're coming in on time. Hey, I taught you how to do this twice. Now we're going to count a point on production,
Yeah.
on quality, right? Quality assurance. So it's like having a point system that sets the boundaries so your people that work with you, I hate to say work for you, I like to say work with you.
Absolutely.
Because they're supposed to be there as an extension, right?
Absolutely.
But the people that work with you know, like, hey, like this is the standard that's set, right? And then of course the next thing here is like making sure that you just, when you train on the task, be okay with like not having to get the approval.
That's
like
right.
let them do it. And
Yeah.
then how you solve this, like, hey, you might be asking, hey, Cedric, okay, what if I do train on it? I do give them an SOP. I do record that and give it to them, and they're like, and I let go of the approval, and then it happens again. This is what the point system is for one. And then you don't come back immediately that same day and say, hey, you like, well, there's two sides to this, right? For one, we have team meetings every week, right? Top of Monday, and we cover those things right then and there.
Yeah.
So that way, like, all right, yes, I didn't come back and I didn't need the approval before you did it, but like, let's go back over this thing right here in this meeting. So now we all are, you're strengthening as a team and you're building your culture. So I feel like I kind of went off the thing, but long story short, those are some tips and some solutions that you should do so you can just go to the next level, because now you're getting into this delegation phase.
Yeah.
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. And that delegation phase is so instrumental
Yeah.
in growing to another level.
Yeah.
Being in this operational phase, and let me just say this for the record so we can move to the next thing. But remember, 90% of businesses are in either tier 1
Tier 1.
or tier 2.
Yep. Tier 1 is the hustler. Tier 2 is the operator.
Yeah.
The long story short, y'all, if the business stops when you stop, you don't have a business.
You don't have a business, my friend. You still have a side hustle.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
if you don't ever get to the point where you can just go to the next level, you're going to be stuck. All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about tier 3, which is what we call the builder. This person right here is somebody who has teams and systems in place. The growth feels heavy, like they're constantly growing. They're at a rapid pace of growth. They have more people. Obviously, more people comes with more problems.
Right.
And then the founder stress increases. Here's why: because there's no ownership. I'll break that down. And then you have busy people and unclear accountability. So you're at the point where you have the systems, you have the leads coming in, you have the revenue,
Yep.
and maybe you've even delegated, right? This is the point where you have to start, like at the second level, you're hiring maybe virtual assistants, maybe some follow-up specialists, maybe these VAs, but at this point, you need some people to take ownership,
Yeah.
right? You need really another you. You need a thinker. You need people who are going to own their position, right? And at this stage right here, the problem that this person has is like the people, right? Now it's time to hire, like look out for what we're hiring, like quality, like we're really hiring quality now.
Yeah.
And now we've got to get into the brass tacks of like, hey, what kind of people are we hiring? What background do they have? Are they better than you? That I truly believe that when you're in this stage right here, the builder stage, y'all, the people you hire must be better than you.
I call them plug and play people.
Yeah. They
That's
got to
what I
be
call
better
them.
than you.
I call them plug and play. I mean, you know, I've learned this. This was the stage that I was in 2023. This is where I was. I hired the right people. I had the right staff. I had all of the things that, that was necessary.
Yeah.
But the stress of the rapid growth and the demands that came with it,
Yeah. Demand. Ooh, wait.
and now it's okay. I need to make sure that I hire these plug and play people.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever I was weak in my skill set, I hired for that skill
Yeah.
set, right?
Yeah.
I didn't try to go and learn. This is not the stage where you yourself
Yeah.
are going to learn
Yeah.
a skill. You
Yeah.
go
You
and
do
you
that at phase one.
yeah, you do
At
that at
phase one, that's all the
if you
time
want
to
to learn a
learn
skill,
everything.
you better learn it in
Yeah.
phase one
Yeah.
and potentially phase two,
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah. That's true.
But when you're in three,
You
no, you
got
don't
money
have time.
now. You got
Yeah.
money at this
You
stage. So don't be afraid to go pay somebody
man,
because you're gonna have to pay. I'm sorry.
you're gonna have to go ahead and give the people that salary
Yeah.
and go ahead and grow it, because I'm gonna tell you something. You taken the time to learn the skill,
Mm-hmm.
teach the skill, train on it, micromanage it to ensure that the skill is taking place, versus going to hire somebody. You're going to spend more money
Yeah.
doing all of the
Going through the mistakes and all the
yeah.
yeah.
Then you have somebody that has already gone through it,
Yeah.
and now they can just take it on. So with that being said, what is, and I can actually speak to that, man. I really can, but I want to hear your
Mm-hmm.
perspective. What is the biggest issue at this stage
Mm-hmm.
where you're making the money, you're hiring right, you got the proper delegation, people are, listening, and they're taking care of business, they're doing all of the right things. What is the biggest issue there?
You have to hire many owners.
Owners, brother.
Before we even hop into that, you have to, when you're hiring owners, people at this stage start to make more money. And this is something that I had to come to a mindset of, is that, like, in the world, we expect everything to be the same cost every single year for life. Like when
Don't
the
worry.
price raises, we're like,
Yeah.
man. So you have to first understand the cost of value. When you hire somebody that's taking like an owner, right? They're
Yes.
owning their role. Yes, it's going to cost more, but like, what is the value? Like learning to articulate the value of what you're spending. Like, all right, you hire somebody. Let's just say that's 60 grand a year. That's 5 grand a month. Really, it's not a 60K decision. It's not 60K out of the bank. It's like, let's just say worst case, y'all. You go through this, you're hiring an owner, and 3 months it does not work. Worst case, what you have done is you spent $15,000 to learn. That's what we do anyway.
Absolutely.
We spend money to learn, right? And hopefully this person set up the next person. Hopefully they were better than you. Hopefully, they taught you something about yourself and you learned a lot about yourself. But the worst case you have done is spend money to learn, because that's what we do anyway. We
Yeah.
spend money to learn. When you test out marketing, you're testing ads, you're testing out to see what works and what does not work. So understand that it's okay to go through a couple of people, but like, if you've done everything that we've said thus far, documenting your SOPs, recording, making sure that like you have consistent lead flow coming in, you have all of these things right here. You should not run through a whole bunch of people, but understand that it's okay if you run through a couple, like one or two. I'm not saying that there's a cap, but like, it's okay. So understanding,
Let me say this: hire
yeah,
slow,
fire quickly,
fire quickly.
fire quickly.
And then let me say this, in the conjunction of that, because
Yeah.
because you're on a very solid point, and I don't want this to go without the proper attention. On the reverse of that, when you hire the right person,
Mm-hmm.
you save yourself more money
Mm.
than you do paying them out. This is how I've
Yeah.
always viewed it. This is why I've always paid top money for people that work for me.
Yeah.
People that work for me have never been able to say that I didn't pay them over what they were worth. And when I say worth, I mean literally where they were at the time, right? Because I always want to overpay
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that I believe in, y'all. I want to overpay for right talent.
Mm-hmm.
I want to overpay for right talent. And let me tell you why. Because right talent, I look at myself. I went into a business. I'm going to give you this quick story. I went into a business back in 2017. And I found, I believe myself to be a sales beast.
Yeah.
I could sell, sunglasses to a blind man. Like I feel like that I am a sales beast, right? So I go into this business, right? And what we were doing, we were, selling leads. We were doing leads. And it was very, very, very simple for me. When I tell you it was simple, I laugh because the dude was paying me $150 per lead,
Wow.
right? $150 per lead.
People work 8 hours and probably still don't make that.
Yeah. And can you imagine me with the lead,
Yeah.
right? And so, and I want to try to cut it real short because I don't want to draw it out. But my
No, you're
point in
good.
saying this is when I knew that I had a firm grasp of the industry, I went to the individual and I told him, listen, if you allow me to do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to 3X your business,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he said, okay. He gave me the charge. Okay.
Yep.
I showed him within a month time, 30 days, that I didn't 3X his business, I 5X his business. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not making this up. 5X his business. Once I 5X his business, he started paying me 3 times more than what I asked for.
You know what happens when you do that though? I feel like you really get an owner then.
That's a real owner.
Like,
Because I literally took on ownership
yeah,
as if that was my company.
yeah,
And that's what I was getting to.
yeah.
When he, instead of him hiring 5 people to do the job
Mm-hmm.
of one, right? He only hired one person that took care of 5 positions.
Exactly.
And not only that, but saved him money
Mm-hmm.
from bad choices,
Yep.
from bad execution,
Yep.
from laziness,
Yep.
not clocking in on time,
Yep.
all of these different things. He never had to worry about that with me
Right.
because I was there at 7 o'clock in the morning and I didn't leave until 9 o'clock in the evening.
What was that mindset? Like, if somebody is thinking about hiring kind of like a owner of their position, right? Like, obviously, it sounds like you're speaking to like the mindset that you had at that time, which is an owner, and you're 3 to 5X in somebody's business, and now they're paying you 3X what you asked for. Like, what put us in the mind of where you were back then, and just so the people can understand, all right, when I'm looking for an owner, what does that look like?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, now I know how I have to pay.
Yeah.
That's okay. What does that look like? What is that kind of person? What kind of qualities does that person possess?
That person asks questions. He absolutely asks questions. And they're not questions that are, I call these people, some of these people that come in to ask questions, they're just nosy.
Yeah. They just
They
wanna
want
know
to
so they
know
can do it themselves.
proprietary
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
They want to, just kind of learn, and so they can go out and
Yeah.
I'm all look.
Yeah, I mean,
I've trained my own competition several times.
yeah. Hey, it
You
is
know
what
what I'm
it
saying?
is,
So
man.
it is what it is. It's capitalism. It's what
Yeah.
it is. But a real person that comes through who's an owner, they're going to ask questions about how can I add value to your business? What do you really need?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You need me to make these? Okay, gotcha. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Right? What else do you need? That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I saw opportunities within the business that I knew that I could add value to,
Mm-hmm.
but I proved myself, first of all, by being diligent in all things that I would hire for.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And so it allowed me within, I would even say 6 months, to move from just an ordinary salesperson. He saw that I had, and he did ask.
Mm-hmm.
It was a team, and I keep saying he, but it was a team. They did ask me. They did say, you must have some, small business or something on the side, or you must be doing something else. And I told him, yeah, I used to be, in telecom. I used to do a
Yeah.
lot of things in telecom. And I had a little small vendor, and I was running this and that. And I was, just giving my history. But these are the kind of people that you're looking for, people who are business owners who they don't want the responsibility of a business, but they will absolutely run yours like it's theirs.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
important.
They will run yours exactly as if it was theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And last thing, I would say it this way, they are passionate about growth.
Mm-hmm.
They're very passionate about growth.
Mm.
I was very passionate about growth to the degree that I was always looking at where are we failing to grow?
Mm-hmm.
What's causing delays in our growth? Because I always knew that revenue growth is not real growth.
Mm-mm.
That's another story. Because somebody would tell you, no, money, man, that's where it's at. No, no. If I grow people, human capital, if I grow human capital, it will absolutely 10x where I'm trying to go.
That's true.
I invest in the people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what I did. I went to town training like crazy. I was just training mini me's. That's all I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And before I knew it, man, people were just, making plenty of sales, all of that stuff. So I guess my point is you're looking for people who ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
And they're asking the right questions.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to add value to your company?
That's true. So
went on a tangent there, but forgive me.
you're good. I feel like that's really valuable for the viewer that's watching this. So like, now you've discovered what problems that you have at this level, y'all, and now you essentially need operators, right? You need owners. You need people who really care about the growth and it can take on their position like an owner, but they're not the owner. You are, right? Here's another thing I like here is scorecards. So having scorecards is very important. Same, really tracking KPIs. So scorecards and numbers.
Key performance indicators, by the way.
Yep, key performance indicators. And then, of course, letting the leaders solve problems. If you get people who solve problems, you won't have to worry about anything,
Absolutely.
especially when it comes down to growth. So those are some fixes that you can do when it comes down to this level right here,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So assigning owners these functions, right? The second thing is tracking outcomes, not effort. You have to track the outcomes.
Very
Number
important.
3 is scorecards, making sure that you have scorecards and numbers, and you're going off of those KPIs, key performance indicators, because I'll just be honest with you, numbers don't lie, people do, right? When you look at the numbers that really solves like 9 out of the 10 problems that you have, the numbers are going to matter. The dials, the offers, all of these things, right? And then, of course, letting your leaders solve these problems, and they're leaders, right? They're owners, they're many owners. So like you don't like, I would just say this, you don't even have to kind of micromanage because they're kind of like a mini you. They're going to make sure that everything is good.
That's absolutely correct.
So long story short, I think the lesson here is like, you don't scale businesses, you scale people.
That's right. Human capital, brother.
That's exactly what it is.
Man, I cannot
you scale people who scale businesses.
I can't, man. If we don't get anything else in this tier,
Man,
please get that part.
You don't scale businesses. You scale people who scale businesses.
That's
actually.
right, man.
You scale people who scale businesses.
I empower people that want to be empowered. That's what I do. Even in me with all of my mentees, I tell them this all the time. One of my mentees, she she every time I show her something, you are a genius. No, I'm not a genius.
Yeah.
This is just information you don't know.
Yeah.
I learned this information. Now I'm passing it on to you.
Yeah. Same thing she has to do for her.
That's right.
Owner.
I'm just empowering you with information that you did not know. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not a genius. I'm just sharing information that you didn't know.
That's true.
All.
So scale the people, y'all.
Scale
the business. So level 4, y'all, you have the owner. This is kind of like this is you top dog now, man. You got money, you got the processes, you got the systems, you got
Everything
the people.
clicking.
So what this typical person experiences, y'all, is They have a strong leadership team. They have many opportunities now. Like sometimes having too many opportunities is the problem, right? High stake, having a lot. All right, yeah, you have high
Ooh,
stake decisions. So like a decision at this point can cost a lot of money, right? And then of course pressure increases. So the problem here, y'all, is like focus dilution. And then the second thing is too many initiatives, right?
man,
Um,
keep it simple, stupid.
very simple. Like what we do is we have like too many prioritizations at this point. You have
Man,
too many initiatives. You have so much, like you need to keep the focus crystal clear,
man,
simple, like stay the course. Like if you were to think back, now you're at a level where you're a top dog. You really need to be thinking about. It's kind of like I said, take us back
hmm,
to when you first started or when you were operating this. You have to. You can't get too big. You can't try like, oh yeah, I got all the money now. Let me try like 6 to 8 different marketing. Like keep it very simple. Yes, there's a saying that you said you used to say to me before. It was something about start small, scale.
yeah,
What was that saying?
yeah. I always tell this, man. I always think big. I
Yeah.
start small, but I scale fast.
Hmm.
And that's exactly how I teach my mentees.
Yeah.
You think big. I already know you got your plan. You got everything in tow. You start small. Don't try to get out here and spend thousands of dollars that you don't have.
Hmm.
Start small, but you scale fast. And what end up happening a lot of times, y'all, especially in this particular stage, is that right now on this stage, you scaled.
Yeah.
You've already scaled to a certain degree. You know, you've taken yourself even out of the business, right? And you are starting to see, real production, stability in revenue. People are just, everybody is doing their job, right? And now
Yeah.
what ends up happening is, because this happened to me, full disclosure,
Yeah.
this happened to me. I had so many different things happening at the same time.
Mm.
And when I say happening, I mean, these were not things that were coming to me. These were opportunities that I took that I should not
Too
have.
many good
I
opportunities.
had a lot of opportunities, brother.
Would you say that everything starts to look profitable at this point?
Well, everything is profitable, but that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because it is profitable, the undisciplined mind
Hmm.
will go for it, which is what I did.
Hmm.
I went for it because it was profitable,
Hmm.
not knowing that me taking on all these different
Yeah.
opportunities,
It's still like
it
the
caused a strain.
yeah.
It caused a strain
Hmm.
to my business. And also because now I got to train for all of these
Yep.
opportunities. I have to make sure that all of these different things now I have to replicate. And this is what people miss. Oh Lord, have mercy. Y'all help me. This is what people miss right here.
Hmm.
Whenever you start a new opportunity, a new initiative, you start from ground one. I'm still sick, y'all, so forgive me. You start from ground one.
Hmm.
You literally start all over.
Yeah.
You're not just picking up everything out of your business and then putting it into this initiative.
Yeah.
Because now you have to learn the new initiative. You got to learn the new
Yeah.
arm, and you got to learn, and
But is it
all of
really
its
worth
pros
it
and
though?
cons. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
So now your focus is off
Yeah. It
because
steals attention from the
it
core,
steals attention from your
your
main
main thing.
business.
Yeah.
And that's
Hmm.
exactly what I did, man. I had one business that was rocking. I'm talking about, man, was rocking.
Hmm.
And I had the good idea of starting this arm and starting this arm
Instead of doubling down and
instead of
staying
doubling
in your
down
lane.
here and really making sure this was airtight,
Yeah.
right? My focus began to look at and see all the profitability that
Yeah.
I used to have this thing, man, um, that I would drive downtown Dallas
Yeah.
and I would go in the daytime and I would go at night. And I would say, look at all of the opportunity here.
Hmm.
Look at all of the money that's here. Man, look at all this money out here. But later on in life, now I see more money, more problems,
Yep.
more responsibility, more time taken away.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So this is what I mean by focus. I gave all of my focus to here
Yeah.
and to here and lost sight of what was here.
Yeah. Because at this point, opportunity is like more dangerous than
Oh my gosh, it is.
than the risk.
Oh my gosh, it is. I got so
super
many
dangerous.
stories on that, but I'm not gonna do that.
We both do. Like with the one venture that we both had, like it's
Yeah.
like, bruh, like. So I think that it's at this point. Long story short, you have a lot of opportunity. Opportunity can be a good thing, but like making sure that the right opportunity is there, and you're gonna have so much opportunity that it just dilutes your focus and even your team's focus from the main mission here. And I think that it's important to like, yeah, there's gonna be other things out here. There's gonna be, other things that are profitable, this, and that. But like, is it really worth like you directing your energy towards something new when you can just double down and stay in your lane? Like there's if I forgot the saying, but essentially it's just basically staying in your lane, hogging your lane, becoming the best at what you do.
Yes.
And like stay out of the other ones.
Yeah.
Because in other lanes you got like now you got other people in those lanes, and either you're gonna you got to it's a competition.
Yeah.
Like it's a competition. You have to focus and stay up. So that another thing, I actually noted this down. And capital allocation matters more than effort, right?
Oh my gosh.
So what this simply means, y'all, is simply where money goes matters more than how hard people work.
Man.
Like it's very important that you try not to make any like bad investments, bad hires, all of these things, because these cash decisions compound. Like every time you make a decision, you get to a point where the losses become bigger and bigger and bigger.
Absolutely.
And
you're no more making $100 losses.
Yeah.
$1,000 losses.
These are hundreds of thousands of
Now
dollars.
you're talking about hundreds of thousands just because of one decision.
Yeah.
Learn from my failure.
Yeah.
Y'all, please learn from my failure. This is why my mentees trust me, because I'm very transparent when it comes to, now I have many successes, don't get me wrong, but my successes came by way of my failures. And one of my main failures that I always talk about is I did not allocate the capital to do what I knew it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
I didn't allocate it properly. And when you just said that, that took me back. I'm just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yes. I was blessed to be making well over, I won't even say a number because I don't want to be sounding like I'm bragging, but I was doing pretty good for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of me putting those money, and I'm not talking about personal, I'm talking about, business. Instead of me putting that money into proper places in order to grow the business, I was giving the money away and I never saw a return on the money.
That's true. Because at this point, every decision that you make with the money must bring a profit.
It has to bring a return.
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize that at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was just doing a good thing and thought I was just being kind and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all, let me give you a secret in business that nobody will ever tell you. Being kind in business is great for nonprofits, but they're not good for profits.
You're here to make money.
You're in business to make money. And when you're making money, you can help more people, but you have to be careful of how you allocate your help.
But here's another thing. Another thing when it comes down to protecting what you built is you have to notice that you're no longer managing the systems. You're managing the people who manage the systems.
That's right.
So keeping leaders that you have hired too long
right.
when like now you have to manage those people.
Yes.
And at this point, there is a such time as keeping leaders too long, because like people lose
Yes.
focus, people get relaxed, people start leaning up, you
Yes.
start finding the manipulations with
Yes.
like, hey, oh yeah, I'm getting paid really, really good now. I
Yes.
can just slip off here. I
Yes.
don't have to work as hard. I don't, and you have to notice that also. So now it's really about making sure that you keep the right people there to protect what you've built.
Yeah.
So when even if you do have to make a decision, everything that you protected is still, I mean, everything that you have is still protected and it's there.
Yes.
Because one wrong move and you can lose a lot of money, and then two wrong, and then before you know it, it's 4, 5, 6, and then like everything comes crumbling because of these decisions. So like,
Yeah.
we're no CPAs or tax experts or anything like that, but long story short, protect what you've built, protect your money, and make sure that you put them in the right places so your money can grow. Of
Grow
course.
them, grow them,
Very important.
grow them. You know, if they start out as your executive assistant and you see that they've mastered one of the skill sets to
Yeah.
do, something in marketing or something of that sort.
Yeah.
Grow your people, man.
Yeah.
Grow your
'em.
people.
Absolutely.
Always. Yeah.
Anything else on this?
Man, no, well, let me say this. I always have more.
No, of course. Absolutely.
But I think we've covered
each
exactly.
stage. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, we appreciate y'all for attending this podcast. We look forward to seeing you next Thursday, y'all. We drop every single Thursday. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, like, and go ahead and comment what you feel like, for one, your tier is, and then for two, what you feel like you've gotten from this podcast. Other than that, we'll see you later, and we'll see you next week.